I've got some pretty exciting news. Evie is now officially on the wait list for St Helena's Ladies College. And her sister will be enrolled as well. They'll be together. And look at the facilities. 8 sports fields, 3 theatres.
Isn't this all a bit premature? It would have been nice to be consulted.
No, Mel's really done her homework here, Ains.
Lachlan, I went to a public school.
It's a different world back then, Ains. But my parents educated me privately the whole way. It was the making of me.
You just said it was a very different world back then.
Yeah, well, that part's the same.
Obviously, with this storyline, we decided to give you a heads up before you got the script. So we told you in advance. In fact, at this very house, I remember going outside to that courtyard behind us to say it. And what was your reaction when you heard where the story was going?
So thank you for the heads up, by the way.
I thought it was better.
Very kind. So I had been hearing whispers all day. There had been whispers of like, do you know? Has someone told you yet? And so I knew that there was a thing that happened, and obviously my mind then went to some places. But funnily enough, when it went to the place of what actually did happen, I was like, no, they wouldn't do that ever.
No. Well, that was my reaction too.
I was like, no, that's too horrible.
Yes.
And so, but when you and Pete, the beautiful director, sat me down and told me, I was conflicted because I was really sad for Ainsley, and so there was this instinctive. I felt upset and sad for her, and on the other hand, I was really excited for Katie because as an actor, I was being given this big gift with a big bow on top of it. And so I was really like, okay, does that make me a really terrible person?
No. It makes you an incredibly talented actor and a very empathetic human.
Well, sorry, I should follow up with then it was quickly replaced with sheer terror because I knew that I had to execute it.
You shouldn't feel any pain at all. Just take a nice deep breath in for me.
Yes,
How
Christine.
did you get yourself into the headspace to play these heart-wrenching scenes that we put you through?
You did a lot of the work for me, thank you, because it was all there on the page and I couldn't even read the sides without feeling really emotional. I'd just had a baby, so my hormones were raging and I was an emotional, tired wreck. And so everything was so raw for me through the whole of the season, just everything, and kind of being given this stuff to do at that time gave me a bit of an outlet in a way.
So generous.
And so all the work was really done around me, and even the crew just went quiet when they were talking to each other. There was sort of this honouring of the space, and when our standby art department, they would be talking to themselves and they would sort of come up and say, would you like me to take Evie? And they would always say Evie. And so there was just this, everyone was so there with me. It was just crafted so beautifully by the two of you and handled so gently and thoughtfully that everyone felt really strongly about wanting to do it justice and paying it the respect that it deserved.
And there's such exquisite scenes, and to know that you were riddled with hormones while going through and walking off that to a real live baby.
Yeah, but that's, I think, what helped, because I would get to leave set and go home to my precious
Because you still
son.
like George.
Then I did, yeah.
Yeah, no,
You
they're
know,
cute when they're...
so, and I would get to switch. I didn't live in that space for very long. I was just there trying to be
Oh, you were
as
magnificent.
truthful as I could in those moments. And then go back to my very charmed life.
Yeah, which was beautiful.
I was worried it was just me, but she is, isn't she?
In this script, it was about really having as little dialogue as possible and just keeping the words, not letting them get in the way of your performances because they were so beautiful.
But
Don't.
the way that the script, the big print in that script is the most moving big print I have ever read in my life. And that is like a unanimous feeling because any person who read the script, the crew, we would all get it at different points in time and you would all be able to, you'd be able to tell when someone had just finished reading it because they would walk past you with tears streaming down their face.
And the read-through, remember the read-through?
read-through. And our producer couldn't even get through the big print without
It was
his
embarrassing
voice.
for him, wasn't it? No, it was so moving. Because the storyline that is such a massive journey for Ainsley, but there's also in episode 6, Before We Ruin Your Life, there's a bit of fun banter about private schools and the education system.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, no, it's a cruel trick from the
Yes,
two of you.
that's exactly
what it is.
Because then it's just like, oh, bam, you thought it was just about public versus private school.
we had to do it because when we first had the thought of having the stereo pregnancies with Mel and Ainsley, it was, I mean, at first it was kind of, ooh, won't this be fun? But then the ultimate playing out of that was, of course, one of you having the dream experience and the other having the waking nightmare. So we were obliged by law to kill the baby. We didn't want to, and it was very, very painful. But it was, in terms of the story development of your, where you were in relation to your dealings with Mel, it was the only, we had
And
no
we knew
choice.
right from the end of season 1, as soon as, as you say, as soon as we had those double pregnancies, we pretty much knew.
Actually, I need you to do one more thing for me.
Name it.
I need you to look after Lachlan. He's... It hasn't hit him. I need you to look after him.
With Ainsley, of all characters, to give her something huge and difficult and monumental to try and navigate, it would just like be a huge development for her and a huge challenge for her, and the character felt ready to face something really impossible.
And we're not allowed to talk about what happens after episode 6, but where your performance goes with her in 7 and 8 is really exceptional because there's a really marked shift in Ainsley's energy and it's really subtle and really true and really beautiful.